Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you guys what I did back in 2009 to increase my turns per second. As far as history goes, I was a total beginner in 2009. I didn't know much about the event other than the idea that I really liked it and I was, really interested in getting fast. So to get fast, I implemented a variety of exercises that I'm going to show you later in this video, and I stuck to a collection of ideas slash thoughts, and this way of practicing really helped me push myself and organize my practice. I think it really helped. So I'm here to share some of these experiences, exercises, and thoughts with you guys. Hopefully you can, get something out of it. Hope you enjoy. Alright, so over here I'm going to explain coordination. When I say coordination, I mean your ability to have your fingers work together. Oftentimes in one-handed solving, you'll have a lot of interchanging turns between R and U, and oftentimes, because that's the case, you'll be using these two fingers one after the other. So a good exercise to do to get started is these two turns, R and U prime. A slow version of this exercise looks like this. Notice that I'm trying to turn U prime straight after I turn R. No break in the middle, so nothing like this. Okay, so that's the slow version. A faster version would look like this. It's also good to note that bringing U back from the solve position, U R prime, is also a great exercise. Just try to get the R prime done after you get the U. So ideally at home, if you're first starting out one-handed, I would practice this coordination exercise and make sure your fingers can work together and respond to the movement of the other. All right, so once you've established coordination and you get the idea and played around with the exercise, it's time to try longer sequences of moves. I feel that the triggers RU prime R prime and RU prime R are very useful because not only are they an extension of your coordination practice, but it shows you something really interesting about where you put your pinky. So to show you guys, I will first do the RU prime R prime slowly. It looks like this. Notice that after I do my first R, my pinky is already ready to do an R prime. This is why people are able to do this trigger very quickly. It's because they're preparing for it ahead of time. In contrast, if you were to do the trigger RU prime R, you wouldn't need to drag your pinky out here because you're doing an R move, and this is not going to help you do an R move. So there are many real-life examples of when you need to prepare your pinky and when you don't need to. One example where you need to is if you're going to do this simple F2L insert. It's very straightforward. It's just like this. That's where you would need to do it. One example, when it's not needed, is this counterclockwise U perm, because it has R, U prime, R, U, R, U, so on and so forth. So that's when you don't need to position your pinky. So knowing the distinction is very useful, and I think these triggers really exemplify the idea in a very simple, simple manner, and also it's an extension of your coordination. Now it's time to move on to two new sequences, both of which are made to help you develop strength to do U prime. Of course, U prime is a relatively easy turn to make, but a very quick U prime is a very, very helpful asset in one-handed solving. The first sequence is RU to R prime, done slowly and done quickly. This really helps you time your U2s, or disjointed U primes, and it helps you reset your index finger back to this position in case you need to do another U prime. Of course, this sequence RU to R prime happens to be in a lot of very common cases in solving, such as the anti-soon and the J-perm. I'll show you an anti-soon. So in this anti-soon, a very common algorithm is RU2, like that. So having a very quick U prime is very helpful when doing the anti-soon. The other sequence is RU prime, R prime, U prime. So it's kind of like a sexy move, except the U is a U prime. This helps you reload your finger. And it just looks really cool. All right, now it's time to discuss RU, R prime, U prime, also known as the sexy move. Believe it or not, the sexy move has great exercise potential. Here's what it looks like slowly and fast. So the point of this exercise is to keep track of what your two fingers, or at least your two active fingers, are doing. So when you are turning R and R prime, your pinky is making this motion, and when you're turning U and U prime, your index finger is doing this. So when you practice the sexy move, at least for this exercise's sake, try to keep your fingers as close to the cube as possible. Okay, notice that when my index finger goes back, I'm already there. Okay, this is much better than flicking out wide like this. So this exercise really helps you gain control of your index finger, also your pinky, but that's also available in the other exercises. So more so your index finger. And unlike the previous exercise where your index finger retreats back here to do multiple U primes, your index finger follows the face of the cube so you can prepare to do a U-turn. Here's something a little bit longer for you to try. Judging from the looks of it, this is an OLL case that can be solved 2-gen, which means it can be solved by only using two faces. In our case, R and U, which are really nice faces to turn for one-handed. The reason I picked this case is because it has a lot of the ideas that we previously discussed, such as reloading your index finger and also carrying it over, and also carrying over your pinky. So done slowly, this algorithm looks like this. As you can see, many of the ideas we explored are present in this algorithm, which is why I like to practice it so much. Done a little bit quicker, it looks like this. And done quickly, like that. Let's talk a little bit about 2-gen solving. In 2-gen solving, the solver scrambles 2-gen, which means using two faces, and solves the scramble by using the same faces they used to scramble. So in this case, I scrambled R and U, which means that I will try my best to solve the cube using R and U. I do the U-perms from the side, so for the sake of exercise, I will turn the cube so that I can practice a U-perm I'm familiar with. If I were to actually do 2-gen solving, I would not rotate because technically it wouldn't be purely 2-gen. So I practice 2-gen in two different ways. The first is slow and consistent turning. So what I'll do is I will turn nonstop. It's going to be slower than what my top speed is, but it helps me integrate all the subtleties that I pointed out earlier, such as reloading your index finger, knowing when to carry fingers over and when to have them stay back. So it's pretty eye-opening to watch yourself do 2-gen when you understand all these subtleties, because you realize that so much more is going on than just flicking one way and then another. So here goes the slow version. that was a bit of an easy solution. The second way I practice 2-gen is fast and with burst turning. So what I'll do is I'll pause oftentimes, and I will insert my pairs and OLL and PLL as quickly as possible. So like this. Something like that. All right, so let's end with some closing thoughts. The first one is that you might notice my approach is a bit structured, and it is. Some people think it's kind of boring, and I admit it's not the most mentally stimulating thing out there, mostly because you're not doing much solving at all. It's mostly practice, very repetitive practice, where you have to supervise yourself at all times and, making sure that you're not going through the motions of the exercise, but you're actually looking out for what you have to look out for. So that's a big contrast to how other people sometimes get faster turning, which is just to repeatedly solve over and over again. I didn't really like that approach when I first started, so I decided to make exercises for myself to kind of get faster at the physical aspect. So if you're beginning to do one-handed, or if you're already doing it and want to get that extra kick with your TPS, I recommend exploring some of these ideas that I presented. You don't have to really do them in order. I just did the sequences in order of length from shortest to longest, but depending on where you're at, if you're a beginner, I suggest starting from the shortest moves. And if you are comfortable with turning and have developed coordination already, perhaps you can just try the easy ones very casually and work on some of the other ones that I presented. I feel like this structured way of practicing is very, very good for things of physical nature, such as running faster or gaining muscle or losing weight. It's all a gradual process where you have to work hard and be efficient and optimize your practice and your path to get the best results possible. Again, thanks for sticking with me in this lengthy video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I have never seen any other videos that address topics like these, so I felt, it was interesting to make. It was certainly a lot of fun. I had a lot of takes, and I'm very happy with the way it is now. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, and I'm sure I will get to the answer. If not, someone else with one-handed experience or in the journey with you will come talk to you. Thanks for watching.